Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Success is a Mindset series. I am here with my mother, who is also, her name is Lisa. And tonight we're going to talk about Airbnb. She has done Airbnb for a while, and she is very good at it. She is what's called, what do they call the host? The super host. So she is very good at that. So we'll be answering any questions you may have about getting started with that during the COVID season. And any difficulties, things like that. We will be discussing that tonight. So I'm really excited that she is here. My other sister, Latoya, will be joining us shortly as she was having some technical difficulties getting on here. But we will be getting started in just a few moments. And I do want to let you know that if you don't know me, my name is Brittany and I'm all bossed up on YouTube and all bossed up on Instagram. And I'm an entrepreneur and also a reseller. I've been reselling for about 3 years or so now. And I just love all things entrepreneurship. And I am here to help people realize the best parts of themselves through self-actualization and mental awareness. And I plan on doing that through my journey here on YouTube, as I've just started YouTube. I haven't been on for very long, but I've been doing this for just a short period, and so far I really enjoy it, and I really enjoy the Instagram community. So if you are interested in being on this series, which normally airs on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, which is called the Success is a Mindset series, or Motivational Mondays, which airs on Mondays at 8 p.m., and you're an entrepreneur and you have a business or you have something going on and you want to showcase yourself, definitely reach out to me on Instagram. Just send me a DM. Again, I'm Brittany All Bossed Up on here and on Instagram. There she is. So you make sure you have your volume up. I'm not sure. Okay, yeah, I can hear you now. Okay, and this is also, so we have here my mom, Lisa, right here. And then we also have my sister, Latoya. So I'm going to get out of the screen a little bit. I will still moderate and ask the questions, but these two are the ones that you're going to want to see anyways, because they have all the answers. So on tonight anyways, they do. So I wanted to say hi to Rhonda, who's in the audience. Thank you so much for joining, Rhonda. I do appreciate you being here. Without further ado, we're just going to go ahead and get started. So what we're going to do first is we're just going to do introductions. So for Latoya, I'm going to go ahead and have you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you and, you know, what you do and who you are, what you believe in, that sort of thing.
Well, my name's Latoya Bullard. I'm an Airbnb realtor, previous landlord, and an up-and-coming interior designer. I currently have one Airbnb property that I have been pretty successful with over the last 17 months. I'm a super host there, and I'm currently working on getting my certification in interior design so I could start that business and be able to help decorate and stage homes relative to real estate, and whether it be real estate or through Airbnb.
Okay, thank you. And we'll go ahead and introduce now Lisa.
Hi, my name is Lisa Kristen. I am Brittany All Bossed Up's mom, and I also do Airbnb as a kind of a side part-time. I've been doing it since 2016, and I only have one property here in Texas. I also do income taxes seasonally, and I'm also a minister, and I am in ministry school right now. So I should graduate by December of this year. So what I'm all about is I love helping people to discover the inward talent that they have, because many times women, they don't have confidence in what I believe God placed inside of them. And so when God shows me a woman and I see talent, I push you to realize what's inside you and come and allow God to bring that to the forefront so that you can be in business. Every woman that wants to be in business can actually be in business, even if it's just a small business, if it's part-time, whatever your dream is, whatever God has placed in your spirit for you to do, you are able to do it. And so that's why Latoya and myself is here tonight, just to answer a couple of questions and try to guide you through starting your own Airbnb or whatever business you have. I do lots of things, and so does Latoya in the administrative side of business plans, marketing plans, things like that is more Latoya's side. My side is more administrative, resumes, things like that. And maybe getting your LLC or your sole proprietorship, getting your taxes set up correctly. That's my side. And so that's what I do. And ministry is at the heart and soul of my life. I love God with all my heart and soul, and I love His Son, Jesus Christ.
Thank you for those wonderful introductions. Now we're just going to go ahead and get right into the questions. So the very first question that we had was just each one of you, I'm going to have Toya start first. Tell us how you got started. Or matter of fact, I might go with Lisa first because I think she's the one that actually did Airbnb first. So we'll go with you, Mom, first.
Well, how I got started, actually, I had moved to a new city, Lenexa, Kansas, and I had more expenses than I had income. And again, I prayed about some business I can start that wouldn't have a lot of startup money. You wouldn't have to have startup. You wouldn't have to get a loan. And that's how I got into the Airbnb business. Kind of researched it, did the work, put my property on the listing with Airbnb and just started right up. So that's kind of how I got into it.
And how about you, Toya? What made you get started with it?
Well, something I'm really passionate about overall is bringing people together. I think that is a part of my God-given purpose. And so it was a no-brainer. Getting into the hospitality industry was a no-brainer, especially have been a landlord. I knew about Airbnb. I had stayed in Airbnbs. I thought it was pretty cool. So I started doing some research. I think, anytime you're about to start a business, the first thing you need to do is research. You need to identify, you do the SWOT analysis. What are the strengths of starting this? What are some of the weaknesses, the opportunities, the threats? So, I started out by saying, hey, I want to have my own apartment. So
I'm sorry to interrupt you. What is a SWOT analysis?
Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities.
Oh, okay. Just in case
of that.
I broke it down. So first of all, I went in, I identified what I wanted first. I said, okay, I want to have an apartment. And I wanted to be downtown. And after doing some research, I realized that, there are clauses in the contract that could have that they basically could evict you if you do start an Airbnb. And sometimes they're actually now putting it in the contract, no Airbnbs. So, and I'll share with you later on about ways to get around that. But at the time, I didn't have an established LLC because that's really the way to get around that relative to apartment complexes. So I was like, okay, I have a home. Let me start there. That is the safest option, is to do it out of your own home. So I had a lot of extra bedrooms. So I said, okay, I'm going to start with my house. Now let me do the research, that's involved with that. What are the legalities of doing it from my home? What are the liabilities? Do I have the proper insurance for the home? Does Airbnb provide deposits? Or can I ask the guest for a deposit, which you can? you want to make sure that you have all of what is needed relative to security, surveillance cameras. You don't want people throwing parties in your home. You want to find out how does Airbnb protect you as a host in the business. If something does happen to your property, what repercussions can I take? And they do have a claims process, and they do protect you up to $100,000 or $200,000. So more than enough to cover your assets in the event that something is destroyed. And I have had to go through that. So that's a part. You have to add up the cost of wanting to get in the business, because in everything you do, there's going to be a risk factor. So those are some of the things I did. I looked at my location. I thought at first, I said, well, there's no way no one would want to, come all the way out here to the rural areas of where I stay at, way North Dallas, to, rent a house or, stay in a house out there. And that's not the case, especially with COVID. People do want to get away, and they do want to do more staycations. Research has indicated that there are the higher percentage of people that are not wanting to get on planes to travel to take a vacation. They want to go right in their backyard. They want to go right up the street. And then you look at hotels. There's just a lot of research involved that can help you identify just, the value that you provide to that market and that community by doing an Airbnb.
Were you able to determine like exactly about how much money you could make? Like basically you could kind of determine based off of you looked at kind of what the other ones were going, and then how basically was it kind of correct already? Like,
So your comps in the area will tell you that's just real estate 101. So you want to look at everything within, let's say, a 10-mile radius of you, a 5-mile, 7-mile radius. Look at all the Airbnbs first of all, and then you want to kind of do it, present it apples to apples. Okay, how many are you willing to host? So for me, I was willing to host 7. So I have 7 people that I'm willing to 7 guests. This is my square footage. This is how many bedrooms. This is how many beds. And I want to match it up and try to find what are they charging during the weekdays and on the weekends. And then what are they charging on holidays? And then you want to take an average of that, and then kind of, come up with your price point according to that. Now, one thing I will say, when you're starting out, a good way, one of the things that's really important when you're starting out is making superhosts. It takes 6 months of, good reviews to make superhosts. And you have to have a response rate of like an hour. There's all this criteria that's involved with
that was difficult to make. Or was it fairly okay? It was fairly.
It's not. I think people are as guests, they're very accommodating. They're very kind people. Like, as long as the place is not trash, they're gonna give you a decent review. Every now and then you got a bad apple, and that's in everything you do. But overall, they'll give you a good rating if you take care of them. So that's what this hospitality thing's all about, the industry. So. So I would say coming into the business, you want to be a little bit lower than your competition, just to kind of get your reviews up, so you can make superhosts.
Right.
Superhost gets more views, and they get more. Airbnb's algorithm. They have an algorithm just like IG and Facebook. It puts the superhost in view more than the other hosts. So you want to make superhost, and it looks better. It looks more professional to be a superhost.
Right. Just as with anything else, like for example, for us, with selling on, see, it's hard for me to follow where this camera is, but with selling on eBay, you got your badges. You get I think it's, what is it? Not super seller, but something similar to that. All of the websites, what is it, Macari, all of them have something where you can get like badges and stuff like that. That helps people to be able to trust you more, to know that you know what you're doing because you're a super host. They trust you a little bit more. They know you have good customer service. If there was a problem, I'm pretty sure you help them resolve that. So that helps to build that trust. And so that's what the badges are all about. But we do have a quick little question here. My friend Rhonda at the Pink Diva Studio says, as a guest, what do I need to provide during my stay? Do you want to answer, or you want her?
Toya can answer.
Okay. Need to provide during my stay. Well, you don't need to provide me. I mean, when you actually go into the platform, you put all of your criteria there. So you tell me how many guests are staying. You read over my my house rules and you agree to those terms. And so I provide you everything and you show up. And so basically there's nothing that I need from you outside of, as a courtesy, I always want to know when my guests are coming and checking in. I provide the check-in time just like a hotel would, and the checkout time, but I also like to just know, if I can accommodate you and, where you can come early. I like to do that. Customer service is huge in this business. So, if you need to come a little earlier or later, you need to stay a little later, I can work with you on that. But basically, you don't need to provide me anything.
I just want to piggyback on that. When she said, what does she need to provide for her stay? I'm thinking it's more relevant. Does she need to bring anything? So when you rent an Airbnb property, you're going to have your basics. You're going to have your towels. You're going to have iron. You're going to have things to cook in, silverware, knives. You're going to have a plethora of stuff. You got TVs. You got internet. You got all of these things that your hosts provide. And Superhost, I just know Toya's property. Hers is she provides quite a bit, the irons in the rooms and things like that. And she has a TV on her patio. And so it depends from host to host. But the main things are always provided. Towels. Some people provide your soap. I do paper towels. I do tissue. I do laundry detergent. So does LaToya. And so we do that.
Cookware.
I go so far as to let them use my seasonings. I don't pull any of that staple stuff out. I let them use it. They have a place to put things in the refrigerator, freezer. So if they want to cook, they have everything they need in LaToya's or my Airbnb home as if they were at home.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And that's kind of the benefit of going with an Airbnb as a guest. It's your home away from home. Mm-hmm. You have way more accommodations. The accommodations, you got, smart TVs and in every room most of the time. Yeah. Wi-Fi, you have pots and pans and a whole full refrigerator in a backyard. And so people really do enjoy it. Do we have any other questions?
Not at this time. I think we're done with the questions for right now, but I know things that people that might not be on here right now, obviously you can't be a criminal, but is there any kind of background or anything for the guest or for you, like anything preliminary that you have to?
Airbnb takes care of all that. They run all background checks. You do have to have a driver's license and a credit card, and they do their due diligence on that. Okay. And they take full responsibility for you if you are a criminal. And something, if something happened while you're on the property or you destroy something, as LaToya said earlier, there's $100,000 in insurance that you can file a claim and be reimbursed for anything that's damaged in your home.
100,000. That's a good amount there. So, I mean, I think she's bringing up a good point. I'm trying to think if we touched everything that you would need though to get started. Like,
well, I wanted to, I say research, plan, execute, and list. And then, and then just upkeep, maintain. That's the starting the process is the property legalities. Are you going to start an LLC? LLCs will allow you to negotiate with homeowners and apartment complexes, condos on multi-units. You can rent out an entire, especially in the environment we're in right now. There's a lot of apartment complexes. They built these high-rise apartments, and then no one's coming. And one of the things that COVID has done is created an environment where people are uncertain. They're not wanting to go into long-term leases any longer. So you find that people are doing more short-term leases, and that opens up a big opportunity for those that are wanting to get into the Airbnb business, especially on a real scalable business level where you start your own LLC and you negotiate multi-units, where then you can make hundreds of thousands of dollars off the platform.
True.
Also, with that too, that's really great is that you can branch off into a lot of other things. When you get into, of course, when you get into a multi-unit type situation, you need a team. You need systems, processes. Even now with, how I run things, I have a process. I'm very, that way I know I can flip my property quick and things. I have a cleaning crew. I just see here, I have a cleaning crew. I have a backup cleaning crew. I have a checklist because it's my home. If I'm not, I don't rent, I live there as well. So I have to make sure that, during the time that someone else is in my home, I'm securing certain things. So I have a check. Okay. Did I secure my room? Did I secure the garage? Cause I don't want them having access to the garage. Did I check all cameras? I have a Ring camera in the front of the house. I have a Ring flood camera in the back of the house. I have to make sure those are on. I have a camera at the front of the door, so I have access to, without disturbing their privacy. I have a camera that just allows me to see the flow and the traffic that comes in and out of the house, because I have limits on how many people can actually stay in the property. Anything above that is violating my house rules, and they could be evicted. And that's another thing too, that you want to make sure you put in your house rules that the consequences, if you do not follow my house rules, this is what will happen. If you smoke in my house, there is fees involved, just like in a hotel. If you smoke in a hotel room, they say it's a $250 fee. There's fees involved, or it could be up to asking the guest to leave. So you just, if you have these systems in place, then you won't forget to do things. And if you have also cleaners that you can rely on, they know your processes and your systems too.
That's the question that's on the screen right now. Do you hire the cleaning people, or does Airbnb do that for you, or do they offer that?
They definitely don't offer, and they definitely
not at this time. No, they don't offer it. So you do have to have your own cleaning crew. You don't have to. You can clean it yourself, but
yourself.
If sometimes you may not have the time. There's been times where I got a booking as I was coming back to do a walkthrough from the last people leaving, and I got booked, and I was like, oh God, I got a couple hours. So, and you have to do, between guests, you want to walk your property, ensure that there's nothing stolen, nothing broken. And so, it's like an inventory system. You gotta, walk the place and ensure that everything is good, so you can file a claim in the amount of time. Airbnb gives you a set amount of time to file a claim from one guest to the next. And, make sure you document and take photos of that. So there's a lot of processes. I think if you have the basics and then really, really understand Airbnb and its policies, that I think you'll be on the right track. And also, researching is big, even with marketing. When you're talking about marketing your property, and photos, how you take your photos, how you list your property, what you put in your listings. People, and really that's trial and error too. Is you'll get a lot of emails. The guests will ask, well, how far is it from Arlington? How far is it from DFW Airport? So then you're like, okay, I get this a lot. And now I think I need to put it in my listing.
Right.
So then this is just something that they'll know, because this is something that people want to know. They want to know.
Considered as a best practice. I was going to talk about those two. What are best practices? You know what I mean? For doing a, generally speaking, what is the best? Like, and what are things that you notice that people really appreciate? Like when they give you a review, and do they leave reviews generally? Like, do they always do that, or do they only sometimes? Or
I would say about 95% of the time they're leaving a review. So okay. I will say.
For me, I've always left reviews. I've always gotten good reviews. 1 or 2 times, I think someone said the house wasn't child friendly because I have a lot of glass. But I also said in my listing that it wasn't for children, and I prefer that if you had small children, this may not be the house that you wanted to choose. That I mainly cater to adults, but I don't discriminate against children. But know that I have glass tables because it's my home and I get to decorate my home the way I desire. And so that is one of the comments, was that everything was glass, And but talking about best practices, just shifting a little bit. What I was thinking about was depersonalizing. When I went to depersonalize this new house, it seemed like I had a lot to do. But like LaToya said, I live in my home. And so I had to take anything of value, anything I don't want them touching, I don't want them seeing. Any pictures of my children on the walls, I removed. And I locked up in my master bedroom, locked up the master linen closet.
Another thing. Are you doing the entire house, including the master, or you're never including your master bedroom?
Never including my master. Right. I will never, ever allow anybody to sleep in my bed. Ever. Ever, ever, ever.
Understood. I mean, I wouldn't either.
I don't allow you to go in my garage, because that's a place where we need to store things that we don't want the Airbnb clients to get to. And then I have an office, because I'm a tax person. I have personal records, people's private records. And so I lock that door, and I also post a sign, do not enter. Right. Forbidden. And I mean it. Anybody tampering or trying to go in there, they can be terminated, period. From the
Would you be able to know if they did enter?
Oh, yeah, because I have cameras as well. I can see all the way to
the camera on my office door and my bedroom door. So if there's any tampering on any door, I can see it.
Mm-hmm. So I also tell them, do not disconnect my cameras. It's an automatic suspension. I will kick you out. I'm not interested in what you're doing so much as I am knowing that you're staying away from the things I told you to stay away from. Right. I also told them that I have a camera in my living room. It will not be disconnected. I don't sit there and look at them all the time, but they know it's there. And yes, I do check in and see just what's going on every now and then. Never into their bedrooms, no cameras. Never into the bathrooms, no cameras. Right. But in my living room, there is a camera, and they have been told that there is a camera in that living room, and it actually covers living room, kitchen, hallway. I can see lunch room, my room. I mean, the doorways, because I want to know if they're going to my door, to my master bedroom. Right. I want to know if you're going to the hall closet, which is locked and inaccessible to you, because you have so many closets that I've given you. So you don't need my hall closet and you don't need my linen closet because I've given all your linen in your closet. So that was the purpose for that.
Right. Rhonda says I wouldn't allow anyone in my bed either. I'd feel some type of way.
Some type of way.
I heard that. No, yep. See, a lot of people that bedroom is just
It's
sacred.
personal.
Yeah.
I mean, having all them strangers in your room.
And that's only if you live there. Of course, if you have a property that's just for Airbnb, you know, then you can make the whole entire house available to them.
And let the people know that you can still host and stay in the house at the same time. You can,
that's the other caveat.
You
can do room by room and you can stay in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can, you know, I've done that as well. I've rented out separate rooms and I remained in the home. They get a cheaper price for that because I'm here. Most people don't like that. A lot of people don't like that because they feel like they got to be on guard because you're in the house, and so I get less listings or less call for a separate room than most people want that whole house. So what Latoya and I is embarking on, I'm hoping this year, is to at least get one apartment, and that's something we're not going to live in. We're going to do it as partners, and we're going to launch that apartment, and it's going to be totally Airbnb.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited about that.
Indeed. And do you plan on just buying the furniture, or how do you plan on doing that? Like when you do it, or you haven't really figured all that stuff out?
We'll buy the furniture. I won't rent furniture. Furniture is so cheap.
Yeah. So you know, there is a way you can in a very affordable way come up with all your upfront costs of, you know, to furnish a place. So, you know, less than probably $2,000, we can have that whole entire place furnished, including pots and pans, dishes, you know, everything that's needed.
Yeah, that's a good
deal. I start out by giving away some of the stuff I got that I don't want.
I hear you. So let's talk about some of the problems or the concerns that you have had or what you've had to deal with. Both of them have had some stuff. So I guess I'll let Toya go first.
Okay. I had a guy that he messaged me on the platform, and he told me that he was wanting to celebrate his birthday with his bros, and and he said he did want to smoke. He wanted to be very transparent that he wanted to smoke. He didn't tell me what he wanted to smoke. He just wanted to smoke. And if it would be okay if he set up a tent in the backyard so him and his broskies could smoke. And so anyway, I said, okay, as long as it's outside, that's fine. And so anyway, come to find out, he rents the place and he throws an all-out party for days. He was there from Wednesday to Sunday. He partied every single night, all morning. I mean, the party didn't stop to about 6 in.the.morning. He had people in and out. I watched the cameras. I even saw madams with prostitutes coming in and out. And so after the first day of seeing that, I contacted him the next day, because first of all, I saw a girl going in with an e-cigarette walking through my door. And I did notice, I allow people to come in, and I have a number of people that can even come in if they just want to visit. And then I have the set amount of people that can actually stay over. He never did violate the stay over. But when you party all night and people leave at 6 in.the.morning, you know, some people are leaving at 3 a.m. So, you know, the door is just constantly. People come in at 9. Some people leave at 12. Some people leave at 2 in.the.morning. It's an all-night affair. It's hard to keep up with what's what. And but anyway, he ends up, I ask him about it, and I tell him about the girl that's with the e-cigarette. He says he's going to try to calm things down or whatever. And but I had to threaten to almost put him out. And at that point in my business, I had not put the consequences of my house rules. That is why I tell you the importance of making sure you have solid house rules, making them read the house rules. You can go as far as saying, if somebody requests to stay at your place, saying, do you agree? Did you read my house rules and my no party policy? And make them say yes right there in the message prior to, accepting their invite. And making sure that you have a solid policy in place and the consequences there. And at that point, I hadn't had any because I just didn't think I needed. I didn't think it was going to get that drastic, and it will get that drastic when it comes to parties, and the quantity of people. And when you're talking about that and COVID, it could really be a situation, even a legal issue, that the police could have been called, because even though it's a private property, if they find out that it's been in the state of Texas, Dallas specifically, they had a number of people that can gather, a gathering quantity, like number. And so if you reach that capacity level, anything over that, you would be violating state law. Yeah. So, and that could, you could be fined or arrested or whatever. So, and then, it gotten to the point with COVID and everything and the partying, because people couldn't go to the hotels to party anymore. They can't go to the club anymore. They can't go to the strip club. So guess what? They go to Airbnb so they can bring the strip club to themselves. And so to protect yourself, having a solid house rules, also having that support from Airbnb. Airbnb put together a no party policy. So now you have Airbnb backing you that says that according to Airbnb's rules, we cannot have any more than 16 people gather in one space. If that happens, not only will I tell you to leave, but you will be kicked off of Airbnb's platform. So we're in this together. And really, as a host, you're partnering with Airbnb. Airbnb wants you to be successful because they're making a cut off of everything. Every time you get paid, they get a cut. So it's like Amazon or any other.
Yeah.
So one of the problems that I experienced really quick is that they will sneak in extra people on you. And that's when I first started out in 2016, I did not have cameras. But what I did was every person that came in my house, I was right there to greet them, and I did a walkthrough with them. That's what I did. And that's what I'm going to start back doing. I want to see who comes in my house, and I want to see how many guests shows up, and I want to be there, and I want to walk you through this house, and I want to go over my rules, and I want to go over my consequences face to face when I can. If I can't, I can't. I don't, if I'm going on vacation, I'm on vacation. If I'm busy, I'm busy. But most of the time, I'd like to be able to meet those guests face to face, and I've always gotten very good ratings because of it. But that's one of the problems you'll have. Other problems. One of the other problems Latoya had is some guy, he just took those things
incense
and laid it on the bay window and just burn
up the whole bay window.
It had to be repainted and all of this stuff because and then somebody messed up a chair. Somebody broke a chair out on the patio just because they partying hard and doing things they shouldn't. So that's one of the downsides. But just know that whenever you decide to go into business, you're definitely going to have some negatives and positives. It's the way you deal with them that make you stay in the business, and not only stay in, but be successful and make money. We're in it to make money, not just because we want people to be happy and have a nice place to live. We want to make money. At the core of it, for me, it's about money.
Yeah, and I think too, you have way more good quality experiences, good experiences than you have bad. So, you might, I might have hosted 100 people, and out of the 100, 5 of them were bad. So it's really, really a low amount of people that will really do damage. There's been times I came in there and I was like, wow, I I would have never known. And when I tell you everything was exactly the way I left it, they cleaned everything and left it spotless, just the way I left it. And so, you get some people that, will not have any respect for your place, and then other people that will really and truly treat it like that is their home. So I've enjoyed my time doing it. I am big on customer service, and having the opportunity to look at the reviews and see people that come from all parts of the United States. Mostly, actually, they just like I said, people are right here in Dallas. So like some people are right from Frisco, live in Frisco and Arlington and Garland, but they all come. I've had brides. I get a lot of brides. Excuse me. I get a lot of brides. I get bridesmaids, event planners. Yeah, so it's interesting just to see all the different people and their walks of life and be able to, provide a service.
Well, that's good. I appreciate all your insight. But I did have another question in regards to COVID. Like, so how did that change? Like, you were doing it before that, and then when COVID hit, then what? Did you even think to yourself, okay, am I even going to do this or not? And then when you decided to move forward, because I know you decided to move forward, then what precautions did you take, or how did that change, your business from there?
Well, March came. I had a lot of bookings for March and April, and they all canceled. At that time, Airbnb was refunding everyone. So, excuse me, a lot of people, a lot of Airbnb people, they just host. Some of them just got out of the business. They started selling their properties. They lost a lot of money. And then others just stood in there, stuck it out. And for me, yeah, I didn't have a lot to lose. Excuse me. I didn't have a lot to lose to, decide to leave, so they left and I had to pay my own mortgage or, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But the advent of COVID basically made cleaning a priority. So I basically had to figure out a way, how do I ramp up my cleaning processes?
Does it cost you more money now than it did? And I know you include that in the price, right? Like they have to pay for it anyways. Is it, like the cleaning is in with the price that they pay to stay, right? Per day or whatever.
Correct. And you want to make sure you actually set your own prices relative to the cleaning fee. So you want to make sure you cover that, your expenses for, disinfecting the place. So the only thing that really changed is Airbnb now has a enhanced cleaning policy, and you have to sign a contract that says that you agree to those cleaning terms. And they teach you how to clean, on a higher level. And so, you got to disinfect the blinds and the drapes.
Okay.
You have to disinfect the remote controls.
So it's just deeper cleaning.
All
basically.
The light switches, things you touch, because anything you touch, if someone has COVID, you can transfer it. So anything that can be touched, doorknobs, light switches, remotes, the knobs on your washing machine and stove and things like that, your microwave buttons, because it's push and you touch. So anything like that, you're going to take your Lysol and spray it down or whatever you use to disinfect. And just to keep down your costs, if you just do bleach water, it's just as effective, if not more. And you can wipe down everything with bleach water and be just as safe, as long as it's not something that's going to change the color of the item. When you can't get a hold of Lysol, because it's hard to find now since COVID hit.
Oh, hey, Roxanne, thanks for joining. We are getting ready to wrap up. That was kind of like the last question that we had in regards to COVID and how that may have changed the business. But, of course, you can always go back and watch the replay. But I wanted to ask these wonderful ladies one more question that's just interesting that I ask a lot of people nowadays, but I just like to know because it's interesting to know if you had all the money. Let me see. Oh gosh. Look, if you had all the money that you needed or wanted to start whatever project or start whatever business you wanted to start, then what project or business would you start?
Oh.
What would you be doing, or would you have multiple businesses? What would you do?
Yeah, you want to go first?
Yeah, that's already
okay. I'll go first. Okay, so I would go ahead and ramp up my tax business. Probably get an office for that. Go seasonal on that. I'd also start a employment agency for ex-felons. And the second side of that would be literacy, to teach adults to read, or get their GED and things like that. So it would kind of work hand in hand. Kind of people coming out of the system, wanting them to be able to get decent employment, not just minimum wages, but wages that they can be proud of and they can put food on. Right. So they don't have to go back to that life of crime that they were doing all their life, that they can have something they can be proud of and go to work and get a decent paycheck. So working with corporations to get these contracts to hire these people, that is something that I would do. Those two things, and then real estate. Real estate. Can't go wrong. Property.
Right.
Yeah, that's me.
So for me, I want to do, I would start LB Designs, Planning and Designs. So there would be a event planning as part of the business. And then there would be the actual interior design part of the business, including staging. And I also want to start flipping homes. And I've always been big on etiquette and bringing that back into the households and to the family life. So I would want to start a business or a nonprofit that would be able to be instituted into schools to teach children about proper posture and etiquette, phone etiquette, text messaging, email etiquette.
Yeah.
And dining etiquette.
That's right. That is good. I like that.
I like that. I would like my kid to take that class.
Your kids are on.
No. If I were a parent again, I would love for my children. If I had small children, I would love them to take that etiquette class.
You can have small children again. You just run a daycare. Just kidding.
My time.
But so I appreciate you guys letting me know what your next moves would be if you did. I know for me personally, since I'm on here, let me see if I can get this screen. Okay, so like if it was me, I would want to do real estate as well. But I don't know exactly what area of real estate I would want to be. I do think I would love to flip houses because I'd rather flip it and be done with it than to even have to mess around with the landlord type activities. If I did have buildings, it'd have to be somebody else that was actually taking care of the properties that I can trust, or property management or something like that. If I would do Airbnb on a higher level, I would have Airbnbs, but I would not be the one that would actually be doing the walkthroughs, making sure that they get cleaned and all of that. I would be doing it from the standpoint of a manager, basically, or an owner. I'm sorry. Like I own it, but I have somebody else that does everything for me that manages it. Same thing with like a daycare or something like that. I don't mind owning it. I just don't want to run it. You know what I mean? Like I know what it takes to operate the business and do what it needs to do. And that's all that matters. Everything else I can just hire somebody out to do those things, because the things that I really like to do is lift people up. I like to talk to other entrepreneurs, be in the midst of the community, do things like that, have events around that, charity events, or, things like that, just like Toya, which would help bring people together. So that would be more of, what I would want to do ultimately would be that. I think I would still do reselling because I can have someone over that. You know what I mean? So as long as
on a bigger level.
Yeah, but you do it, on a different level where I most likely wouldn't be thrifting anymore, but I would still be getting in pallets of inventory and still processing and doing all those things. I'm just not doing it myself anymore, but I'm over it. So that sort of thing. Basically, once again, you're just managing it. But anyway, I wanted to do, let me see if we have time. We do have a little bit of time. Okay. Did you have something you wanted? My mother has something that Miss Lisa had something she wanted to say.
Well, for ladies that, I have lots of clothing and shoes that I no longer can wear because I've lost 110 pounds. So anywhere from 22 all the way down to 14s and 12s, I believe. A few 12s, but 14, 16, 18, 20. I have all those clothes and size 10 shoes. And I just been holding them because I paid so much money for my clothes and shoes that but I think that if anybody wants to, maybe we'll set up a date and you can come by with Brittany or get in touch with Brittany or however she wants to do it and come and take a look and see if there's anything you'd like or anything like that. I'm open for that. Anybody that needs their taxes done, I'm open for that.
She's very good with taxes.
You can reach me at lchriston44@gmail, all lowercase LCHRISTON44@gmail. It is all virtual. We do not have to meet in person. Everything you give me is confidential, and your taxes will be done virtual. On that note, I'm gonna turn it. No, it's a small C, L and a small C, all lowercase, LC.
Okay, I'm gonna put it in the chat here. Okay, it doesn't matter though. I mean, I think if you put it in there, it don't.
Well, if you, okay, that's good. Okay, so I'm gonna turn it over to Toya for whatever.
Yeah, and then we want to know basically where we can find you, and
Yep, just to piggyback on what Brittany said, one of the things that that I could do and help people is if they're more so interested in making money off of the Airbnb, but not necessarily wanting to get into the service aspect of it, I can help co-host or manage those Airbnb properties for you and provide, status updates. Although you'd have access as a co-host, you would have access to see everything that's going on and all the messages that goes on back and forth without having to have the responsibility. You'd have the financial responsibility, but you wouldn't have the responsibility of the customer service and the managing process. Like I was saying, the processes that go, the in and outs of actually managing the Airbnb business. So if anybody's interested in getting started, or even if you're needing a consult, I'm available, or even helping to decorate or stage. I'm good at all of those things. I can be reached on IG at Lady L, LadyYELLE30. Also, you can reach me via email at ladyl29@gmail.com. Thank you.
All right, I put that also in the chat, the Lady L30 for Instagram, and then it's the Lady L. Is it Lady L30 as well for the email?
LadyL29@gmail.
Oh, LadyL29@gmail.com if you want to reach out to her. I didn't know if you wanted to, well, no, we're not going to do that because we don't have very much time left. I was going to have her show some pictures of her actual Airbnb but we're kind of running. Let me see here. Do you see that button at the very bottom where you can actually share your screen?
Oh, okay.
Pictures up that you can show real quick.
Let's see if I can bring it up.
I was like, we do have a few minutes, so we don't,
And while she's trying to do that, I'll just say that I am also on Facebook, Lisa Bullard Christian. Every Monday morning at 7 a.m., I am praying for the nation, praying for women, men, children, as I feel God leads me. So if there's anyone that wants prayer or you have something you want me to pray about, please email me at lchristin44@gmail, and I will certainly pray for you Monday mornings when I do my prayer.
sounds good. And I do want to let everybody that's on here know, once again, if you are interested in being on the Success is a Mindset series and you have a specific trade or service or something that you have done that you want to share with basically the world, then definitely you can reach out to me on Instagram at Brittany All Bossed Up, or you can leave me a message. Or I would say best way is Instagram, because I'm on there all the time on IG. So I would say, and that's why I didn't do it, because this camera situation is like I can't really see that well. But anyways, but that's what I would do. Reach out to me on Instagram, and you could be on Motivational Mondays. That's at 8 p.m. every Monday. If you're an entrepreneur and you want to talk all things entrepreneur, or you have a specific thing, which Success is a Mindset series is more about the mindset to be in business, what a successful person's mindset looks like, what do they think like. And I think we really talked about that in the very beginning when we asked the question, what made them decide that they wanted to get into business in the first place. So we kind of answered all those questions. Also went over, what kind of problems you might run into trying to run an Airbnb during COVID, how to get started doing an Airbnb, what problems you might run into, all that. So if you are just now tuning in, just note that you can always go back and watch the replay and get more information on this topic. And again, if you need us, you can reach out to us on the platforms and on the emails that we gave, lchristin44@gmail.com, or Brittany All Bossed Up on Instagram. And you got Latoya, my sister, Lady L30 on Instagram, or you can reach her at Lady L29@yahoo.com. Once again.
Is it Yahoo or is it Gmail?
I'm sorry, Gmail. I'm sorry, gmail.com. My bad. So, were you able to find the pictures?
Actually, I have it up, but I am not very savvy on how to allow for screen sharing. I just actually got, let me see.
At the bottom of the screen, at the bottom of your screen, you should have something that says mute, stop the camera, cam and mic, and share. And so it's at the bottom of the screen where you can actually share it.
Okay, I do see where it says share.
Okay, you click on that plus sign right there with right click.
Right, and then when you hit the share, I think my laptop is new, and it
okay,
something about permissions and going into the settings and
okay. Well, that is okay. That is all right. I just thought it would be interesting for them to kind of see some of your work.
And they can find it under, is it under Aubrey or Crossroads? Which city?
Crossroads, but you can also find it in Aubrey as well.
Yep.
Well,
if you just go under Little Elm, you're going to see property.
You can kind of get an idea of what they look like, but I just wanted them to see it because she likes to do interior decorating, and she really is good, you guys. So if you're thinking about it, definitely reach out to Toya, because I've even asked her, our cousins. I mean, people are always asking her, what would look good, or if she can help them with their decorating, because she just does so good at it. But anyway, thank you so much for joining. I do appreciate having my special guests, my mother Lisa and my sister Latoya, on the live tonight. Thank you guys so much for joining, and thank you, and good night.
Bye.